Over the past year, Netflix has introduced startling changes in its service, including increased subscription prices, password sharing restrictions on accounts, and ad-supported plans as it fights to save its streaming model. But what caused this? A year earlier, on April 20, 2022, Netflix reported its first net loss of subscribers for the first time in a decade. Netflix had over 221 million subscribers globally, but a mere 200,000 net loss of subscribers sent the company's market cap free-falling $220 billion, or 73% of its equity value. The streaming platform, previously known as a small startup that disrupted media and brought the decline of giants in blockbuster and cable television, was now at an inflection point as Netflix faces signs of growth potentially ending. Netflix has had positive net income previously, but dive deeper, and Netflix is not as profitable as at first glance, as the subscription streaming model shows deep cracks in its ability to operate long term. Today we'll talk about the rise of Netflix and its streaming model, the events that have caused the business to become unsustainable, and the potential future of streaming within Netflix itself and wider media. Founded in Scotts Valley, California by Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, Netflix was initially launched in April 1998 as the first mail-based DVD rental and sales business with 925 titles to choose from. Initially, Netflix offered a per-rental model, offering 2 DVDs at $4 each, charging $3 per additional selection and $5 to reserve brand new titles, but introduced a monthly subscription concept in September 1999. The per-rental model was dropped by early 2000, allowing the company to focus on the business model of flat-fee unlimited rentals without due dates, late fees, shipping and handling fees, or per-title rental fees for $15.95 per month. In its first year, Netflix reportedly gained 239,000 subscribers. Netflix's launch was at a time when VHS dominated the home entertainment market, with only 2% of households having a DVD player. But VHS tapes were too bulky and delicate for Netflix's mail model. Luckily, DVD players were a popular gift during the holidays in late 2001, and demand for DVD rentals skyrocketed. Reaching over 600,000 subscribers, Netflix went public on May 29, 2002, the following year at $15 per share and a $300 million market cap. When looking at Netflix's biggest competitor at the time, this was groundbreaking. Blockbuster, the industry giant at the time with over 4,500 stores and valued at $5 billion at its peak in 2002, charged $2.99 daily for new releases and $1.99 daily for older films, that later progressed to $4.99 for a 3-day rental, along with significant late fees. In September 2000, during the dot-com bubble, while Netflix was suffering major losses, Hastings and Randolph offered to sell the company to Blockbuster for $50 million. John Antiochos, CEO of Blockbuster at the time, thought the offer was a joke and declined, saying, "The dot-com hysteria is completely overblown." Netflix's bigger breakthrough happened in January 2007 when the company introduced video on demand on the internet with the humble 1,000 films available for streaming compared to 70,000 available on DVD at the time. Streaming's advent was facilitated by improved data speeds and bandwidth costs in the mid-2000s to allow customers to download movies online. Initially, streaming started as a free add-on to traditional rental DVD subscribers, but was limited to 1 hour of streaming per dollar spent on a monthly subscription per month. That means if you spent $16 a month, you had 16 hours of streaming monthly. Streaming was received greatly, and in January 2008, unlimited streaming at no additional cost became available to all rental disc subscribers. It wasn't until 2011 that Netflix split its subscription services into 2 different packages, one for streaming and one for DVD rentals. The price for its DVD rental subscription stayed the same, ranging from $7.99 to $19.99 a month, which included a 1-month free trial and unlimited exchanges, while separately offering a new unlimited monthly streaming package for $7.99. The media streaming model had been born. Physical hardware and DVDs were no longer needed, and a recurring revenue subscription model monetized exclusively from digital content. In the same year, in 2011, Blockbuster entered bankruptcy and was sold for $320 million to Dish Network before being shut down entirely in 2014. The decline of cable television soon followed, with many previous cable subscribers cutting the cord, as streaming on-demand shows was now more convenient and cheaper. Netflix was particularly well positioned in its pivot to the novel streaming model, licensing third-party content and aggregating a library of films and shows to watch all in one place on demand. Subscribers could now binge watch shows like Friends, The Office, and Seinfeld at the click of a button. But as a content licensor, while Netflix was the first mover in streaming, Netflix now lacked a competitive advantage, not actually owning any content and being beholden to the actual studios who own the IP, As licensing costs increased with each renewal from each studio, favorite titles began disappearing and Netflix needed exclusive content to retain their subscribers, as new entrants joined streaming. In 2012, the company entered the content production industry with Netflix Originals, debuting its first original series, Lilyhammer, a crime comedy drama show. Despite showing promise, the series lasted for 3 seasons until being cancelled. Netflix didn't want to just make average shows, but to excel at making high-quality programming to attract and retain their subscribers and develop their competitive moat with exclusive content. The following year in 2013, Netflix earned critical acclaim and virality with general audiences with the debut of House of Cards, which went on to be the first original online-only web television series to receive major Emmy nominations. Netflix continued to spend more and more of their budget on new programs with varied quality and successes. In 2016, Netflix released 126 original series or films, more than any other network or cable channel. Netflix iterated a goal of having half of its library consist of original content by 2019, announcing a plan to invest $8 billion on original content in 2018. Investments into new content increased over time to $14 billion by 2019, and while there were many misses, there were iconic home runs like Stranger Things, Squid Game, and Wednesday to name a few. Netflix particularly benefited from the stay-at-home orders during the quarantine of the pandemic era, when Netflix had the highest potential for captive viewers looking for home entertainment. As more was spent on generating content at a meteoric rate, the company needed to sustain their business with price hikes on their monthly subscription, $7.99 to $8.99 to $9.99 to, as of January 2022, $15.49 for the standard plan. Instead of paying $7.99 a month to stream from one library of shows, viewers now had to pay about double that for Netflix's service while also paying similar amounts for other streaming platforms to watch the same titles that were lost on Netflix. This potentially totaled over $100 for viewers with subscriptions to multiple services. The novel model that once undercut cable television with on-demand content was now arguably as expensive for its viewer, if not more. Price-sensitive subscribers increasingly canceled their Netflix subscriptions soon after. As Netflix scaled, its income statement showed strong net income, but actually was cash flow negative most of the time due to its accounting methods. To create its content, Netflix has high capital expenditures to create assets on its balance sheet, which is financed by debt. These IP assets are then amortized to normalize its cost recognition as it is streamed on the platform over time. But in reality, Netflix is consistently cash flow negative even at their scale, as they must continue to spend large amounts of capital expenditure to make new content period after period. All is overlooked by the public markets as long as net subscribers continue to grow. But with its Q1 earning announcement in 2022, this was no longer the case. After years of increasing prices and competition entering streaming, Netflix reported its first net loss of subscribers for the first time in a decade. Netflix had over 221 million subscribers, but a mere 200,000 net loss of subscribers sent the company's market cap free-falling $220 billion, or 73% of its equity value. Netflix could no longer rely on their growth story and needed to become cash flow positive as their streaming model was no longer sustainable. Netflix addressed burn by cutting costs like any other challenged company would, decreasing operating budgets, especially in headcount, laying off 450 employees and contractors. Netflix also controlled its capital expenditures in new content, keeping its budget at $17 billion, similar to the previous year, but canceling 17 underperforming shows since its earning announcement. Addressing its top line, Netflix made significant changes to their revenue model to increase their subscription revenue by adding a new income source and by attempting to increase their paying subscriber base. In October 2022, in a bid to increase new subscribers, Netflix introduced a revenue stream from the days of cable: commercials. Netflix began offering an ad-supported tier of the service for $6.99 a month, but unlike the variable advertising auction models of old, Netflix chose to go with the fixed-price advertising model. To facilitate the implementation of ad placements, Netflix tapped Microsoft with reports of ad rates at $65 CPM, or $65 cost per meal. This meant that it would cost $65 to reach 1,000 viewers, with expectations of reaching up to $80 per CPM for 15 to 30 second ads. This is incredibly high for ad buyers when compared to the CPM of other advertising formats. Ad buyers will want to see the effectiveness of ad campaigns, and while targeting is limited currently, Netflix will be incentivized to implement increasingly tailored ads, leveraging the data of its subscriber base and its already sophisticated media recommendation model. If successful in this value proposition and in charging a $65 CPM, Netflix can easily break even in revenue per users with an ad-supported plan compared to a basic plan with no ads, if each user watches Netflix an average of over 4.6 hours a month. This is about 5 episodes of Stranger Things a month. More recently, in February this year, Netflix tackled a problem that it turned a blind eye to in previous years: password sharing. Netflix estimates that more than 100 million households share their passwords with other households, reducing its paying subscriber base. To address this, Netflix started rolling out password sharing restrictions, asking anyone using an account on a streaming device that isn't associated with the account owner's household to enter a 4-digit verification code that will be sent to the primary email address or phone number associated with the account. The person using the device will then have to enter the code within 15 minutes to gain access. Netflix has said that it will use such information, such as IP addresses, device IDs, and account activity from the device to determine whether or not a device is associated with the household. Though only implemented in Canada, New Zealand, Portugal, and Spain currently, Netflix has also begun charging subscribers to add up to 2 additional users who don't live in the same household to their account. The days of sharing is caring are over when it comes to binge watching your favorite shows. Supported by the public markets by its growth story in the past 2 decades, Netflix's streaming model that previously disrupted home entertainment is now turning back to past models with a new twist as it matures its advertising video on demand or over-the-top services. In a saturated competitive programming landscape, competitors in streaming have either already had ad-supported models or are also implementing it as they see the unit economics of subscription-only models become unsustainable, without significant price hikes to subscribers who already pay for additional streaming services. Disney Plus, Netflix's biggest rival, currently experienced its first loss of subscribers in Q4 2022 of 2.4 million subscribers, and has already added an ad-supported model, while Hulu, also owned by Disney, has always had an ad-supported model, along with Peacock, Paramount, Discovery Plus, and HBO Max. Looking back at television, one specific channel has also exploded alongside advertising video on demand. Connected television, a device that connects to or is embedded in a television to support video content streaming, has been the fastest growing advertising category in the US for the last 2 years, growing at 22% year over year in 2022, and includes services like Roku, YouTube TV, and Apple TV. Not to be confused with linear TV, the traditional television format with scheduled programming through a cable or satellite connection. Connected television is an internet-connected device a viewer uses to watch TV or video content online. Many CTV services today are already embedded in smart TVs as they partner with hardware manufacturers to provide programming outside of the box without the need for cable. But to fit with the new viewing behaviors of audiences, the format of programming has greatly changed. When viewing my smart television, I noticed that live events are still scheduled for a specific time, but many legacy channels are scheduling marathons of one show for the whole day, or multiple days at a time. When I flip through to Comedy Central, I no longer see stand-up specials, but marathons of The Office. Flip through to MTV, and it is ridiculousness replaying online memes and comedy clips instead of music videos. It seems that outside of live events, CTV programming is scheduled to mindlessly put in the background for the home, waiting rooms, or restaurants that display it, a complementary viewing experience to the more intentional on-demand binge watching on Netflix. The continued rapid growth of OTT services like Netflix and CTV platforms like YouTube TV under an advertising model is advantageous for advertising buyers with significant potential for targeted marketing. Online television services now have the capability to tailor advertising to different viewers at the right times based on their demographics to have more effective campaigns for ad buyers. Commercial breaks for the same program at the same time may place different ads for different households based on the data on the viewer's specific preferences or demographics. Ultimately, ad tech companies that can capitalize on the targeted marketing opportunity within streaming platforms in OTT and CTV by verifying viewership on advertising, measuring ad spend return effectiveness, and collecting more detailed consumer data to provide even more precise marketing will have extreme success. For Netflix specifically, Double Verify and Integral Ad Science has launched partnerships to verify the viewability and traffic validity of ads starting in Q1 of 2023. On the flip side, targeted marketing also opens the door to increased tracking and privacy issues that could easily stretch to Netflix in the future in the initiative to improve its advertising model with the data of over 200 million households and a sophisticated media recommendation platform at its disposal. Netflix may be trending towards a more data-heavy approach to not just recommend the best shows for its viewers, but also commercials.
Oh no, not cool.
The future of Netflix and home entertainment at large looks like the past, with a return to advertising and television, but arguably even more expensive and with increasing intrusion on our personal data.